Is this thing on? Oh, of course it is. Hi, I'm Kyle Brake. I'm 30 years old and live in Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome to the Breakdown Casting YouTube channel. What's this channel all about, you may ask? More on that in a minute. I was born in Halifax and grew up in Elmsdale, where I lived from the time I was 5. Having graduated, albeit barely, from Ancestral High in 2012, stuck in a rut, I chose to head west to the town of Sherwood Park, Alberta, where I started a solid career in hardware retail. That continues to this very day. Having worn an orange apron to management positions, home was calling, so almost 3 years ago I moved back east, settling in Truro, Nova Scotia. With that said, I've always wanted to talk on screen, so this is my passion project. Let me tell you about 2 key moments that set the stage for this moment. I was maybe 5 years old and up early, probably eating a whole package of bologna or some raw pasta. I was a weird kid, what can I say? Filtering through a box from a recent move to what I consider to be my hometown, the aforementioned Elmsdale, Nova Scotia, I found a tape labeled simply Rustling. In hindsight, Lord knows what I could have just uncovered. Regardless, I threw it into the VCR, rewound, and hit play. Thanks to Google, I know that I was watching the then WWF Saturday Night Main Event 19, which emanated from the Sundome in Tampa Bay, Florida. I was hooked instantly. I recognized at a young age how the now disparaged Hulk Hogan held the crowd in the palm of his hands. But what sold me wasn't that. It was a moment that happened later involving, believe it or not, a guy called the Red Rooster and Tito Santana. The move was called the pile driver. The Rooster had picked Tito up by the waist and dropped him on his head. It was incredible. Little did I know, it was all an act, and the two had merely put on a show together and were working toward a common goal. But what does that lead you to, you may be wondering? That leads to the Down to the Canvas Wrestling Cast, which will bring you news and results from the previous week's wrestling shows, my opinions on some of those, as well as history lessons from the many famous arenas that have through the eras been the stage of many classic moments. To the second moment. It's January 22nd, 2008. A 13-year-old me is sitting on his dad's couch and decides to watch the hockey game. It's hockey's most storied rivalry. The Boston Bruins are into Montreal for a game against the Canadiens. Would it be a defensive game or an offensive onslaught? The latter would prove to be true, but the ice was certainly tilted. At just 14 seconds of the first period, number 6, Tom Kostopoulos, would give the Habs the lead, and they would not look back, handling the Bruins by a score of 8-2 on a festive night in front of a jam-packed crowd of 21,273 at the Bell Center. A love for the Montreal Canadiens was sealed at that very moment. The 2010 run with Halak was incredible. The 2014 run with Price remains the biggest what-if in my time cheering for the Habs. Obviously, the 2021 unexpected run to the Stanley Cup Final was, although the best run, it was equally as heartbreaking. This leads to the Breaking Point HockeyCast, where I'll cover recent news involving all NHL teams, as well as covering news and stories from the upstart PWHL and local Q-League action as well. On top of that, I will also provide you player profiles on unsung players like German-born D-man Uwe Krupp. Of course you should know him. He scored the overtime Stanley Cup winning goal in '96, for crying out loud. Some house cleaning. I work a full-time job. This channel is not political or geopolitical, so keep it clean in the comments. As well, my plan is to release 1 video a week, as I'd prefer to have quality over quantity to start. I'm Kyle Brake, and remember, if it crosses the goal line or comes from the top rope, you'll hear about it on Breakdown Casting.